What's the single most powerful tool in marketing? The one thing that's sure to make customers make a purchase and love your brand. This one thing is the most simple yet overlooked lever in marketing. It's emotion. In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to use emotional marketing to drive sales and loyalty for your brand. I'm going to give you a framework for how to figure out what emotions motivate your audience. And I'm going to tell you the top 10 emotional motivators that drive sales. You're going to unlock how to create more compelling campaigns and learn how to build a more magnetic brand. Research from the Harvard Business Review found that emotional factors drive 95% of purchasing decisions, highlighting how critical this is for influencing consumer behavior. Dr. Michael Platt, a marketing professor at the University of Pennsylvania, conducted a groundbreaking brand loyalty experiment on Apple and Samsung customers. His hypothesis was that if you have a strong social emotional bond with a brand, your brain will actually exhibit the same pattern of brand activity it does when something good or bad is happening to someone you love. In other words, it's possible for you to feel the same depth of emotional empathy for a brand as you do for someone you care about.
Michael Platt is a professor of neuroscience, marketing, and psychology whose research demonstrates how our perception of brands influences our decisions.
There's an idea in marketing, which is that we relate to brands in the same way we relate to people. It's like, I love this brand, or I hate this brand. Of course, what people say, right, can often be different from what's really going on in their heads. So we thought, well, why don't we just ask the brain directly?
Michael and his team observed the brains of iPhone users and Samsung Galaxy users with an MRI machine, while they heard good, bad, and neutral news about Apple and Samsung.
Apple customers showed a brain empathy response toward Apple that was exactly what you'd see in the way you would respond to somebody in your own family.
And because of this, Samsung's brand is much less defensible against competition, and the numbers bear this out. Apple has a 92% retention rate amongst iPhone users, while Samsung has a 77% retention rate. It's no wonder that after Steve Jobs passed away, fans of Apple showed up in the hundreds of thousands to pay their respect. Yes, they were mourning the loss of a generational visionary, but perhaps more importantly, they were commemorating a person that created a brand that they felt a deep emotional bond to. By getting customers to feel powerful emotions like joy, nostalgia, anger, or fear, you forge a potent connection between your brand and your audience, which translates into increased sales, loyalty, and brand advocacy. Now, let's get into the most important question. How do you figure out what emotions drive your audience? To do this, you first have to understand the underlying psychographic data of your audience, which includes information about your customer's personality, values, attitude, and lifestyle. To simplify this, ask these 4 core emotional questions about your audience, which are loosely organized based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What do they love? What do they fear? What do they hate? What motivates them? Now, let's break these down one by one. Emotion 1, love. Love is used to tap into people's self-esteem, self-worth, and self-image. So, depending on your audience, this could do a few different things for you. The very basic psychological process behind love is something known as attachment theory, which is the idea that people have an innate need to form close emotional bonds with others, both for survival and for well-being. When people feel good about themselves and their self-image, they're much more likely to purchase products that match with that positive self-image of themselves. That's why you'll see marketers try to mine for data as it relates to love to include things like family, friendship, fun, and freedom. Companies use love-based messages to essentially create an emotional attachment to their products. One campaign you might remember is Dove's Real Beauty campaign, which focused on tackling unrealistic beauty standards and championing real beauty instead. This campaign was so successful because it included real stories about people who struggled with self-esteem and felt knocked down for appearing different or unaligned with unreachable beauty standards in society. Dove's campaign also highlighted how these individuals overcame struggles to feel confident in their own skin, because many people empathize with being held to unrealistic standards. Dove was able to create an audience of loyal consumers who related to this feeling, and more importantly, on the feeling of being loved and supported for your natural beauty and uniqueness through buying and using their products. At the time, this was a groundbreaking approach, but today this is a playbook that most beauty and lifestyle brands are replicating. Another iconic brand that relies heavily on love as its emotional linchpin is Tiffany & Co. Tiffany & Co. weaves romance into their advertising often to unlock feelings of love and commitment. Proposal-focused messaging, like their Will You campaign, focuses specifically on the magic of proposals and celebrating the moments two people commit to a life together. Coke's well-known Share a Coke campaign captured hearts as soon as it launched in 2013 because it featured individual names on each bottle, which tapped into the basic human desire for recognition and personal connection. Emotion 2, fear, security, anxiety. Fear can stimulate a high level of brand recognition because people have a better recall for ads that evoke fear than ads that evoke joy. Take any deodorant brand. Where would their sales be if we weren't all a little bit afraid of the embarrassment of BO? After 300,000 years of human evolution, the fear reflex still outweighs the pleasure response as a motivator of human action. That's why this tactic is turned to so often in marketing. As it relates to psychology, fear, anxiety, and insecurity are all emotions linked to the fight or flight response. This autonomic response happens when we perceive a threat, and it can make people feel more alert and create more urgency to take action. Think scarcity tactics like get it while supplies last. Using this information, marketers can make emotional appeals to show how their products improve quality of life by solving their deep-seated fears, insecurities, or anxiety. A great example of this is the World Wildlife Fund, which elicits fear-based emotions via campaigns that depict how climate change will adversely and irreversibly impact you and future generations' lives if you don't take action against the harmful effects of global warming. Or take ADT, Home Security Systems, whose ads often show traumatic home invasions that create a sense of urgency to buy a security system or else. Now, this lever can certainly be used cynically, but for this video, I don't want to moralize these choices, but rather talk about the science and psychology that drives human behavior. Emotion 3, anger. Believe it or not, turning rage into revenue happens more often than you think. Anger is a complex emotion that is influenced by factors like social norms, cultural values, and our own personal experience. However, the main psychological reason why it works so well in marketing is because people ultimately feel a strong desire for fairness, justice, and equality.
Flood of illegals, skyrocketing prices, global chaos, and Kamala wouldn't change a thing.
Giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools.
When people feel that something is unjust, they'll experience anger, which directly motivates them to take action. One survey found that subjects who read about an enraged politician from their own party were much more likely to report feeling mad themselves than people who didn't. Those same angry supporters also reported that they were more likely to attend rallies to vote on election day. Another example of this is Nike's controversial 2018 campaign that urged customers to believe in something even if it means sacrificing everything. This campaign sparked anger and outrage because it featured NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who protested against racial injustice and police brutality during the national anthem. According to Forbes, while some people disagree with this message, for the people who did agree, the campaign led to a 31% increase in online sales and an upsurge in the company's stock price. By tapping into the anger around racial injustice, Nike was able to create a potent emotional connection with its audience. Ben & Jerry's is another great example. Their ads often feature anger around social issues like their 2024 campaign, Make Some Mother Chuckin' Change, which calls out hot topic issues like climate change, racial justice, and gay pride at a time when brands have pulled back on purpose-driven marketing for fear of conservative backlash. By tapping into the feeling of facing big challenges together, Ben & Jerry creates a loyal following of customers who are like-minded and inspired. But be warned, this approach doesn't come without risk. It can be very polarizing and alienate potential customers. Emotion 4, ambition. As human beings, we all have the innate desire for self-improvement and self-actualization. That's why ambition-based messaging can work so well. The focus here is primarily on your customers' dreams and aspirations. Because people are naturally driven to want to succeed and accomplish goals, campaigns that evoke a strong feeling of motivation while highlighting the positive consequences of taking action oftentimes work the best. Companies who do this particularly well include Gymshark, a popular fitness brand that is known for showcasing high-octane, ultra-fit influencers to spread their mission. Gymshark influencers not only create a wealth of motivational self-improvement content, but they also specialize in interactive, community-based marketing campaigns, like the 66-day Change Your Life Challenge, where participants posted before and after photos of themselves completing the challenge. This feel-good campaign debuted in 2018 and has led to an ongoing campaign ever since. Red Bull is another great example. This well-known energy drink brand is recognized for featuring images of extreme sports followed by testimonials from satisfied customers about how Red Bull drinks helped maximize focus and performance. One jaw-dropping campaign in particular featured Austrian skydiver Felix Baumgartner. Together, they set out to achieve the fastest and highest free-fall jump in human history, from a stratospheric height of 128,100 feet. Millions of people watched via live stream, while Baumgartner leaped into the stratosphere, breaking not only records, but also the sound barrier itself. This campaign wasn't just about shattering records, but it connected the audience to the emotion of finding the limits of human potential within yourself and others. Now that we've gone over the core 4 emotional drivers, let's answer the question: what are the most powerful emotional motivators you can use for your brand? Well, as it turns out, researchers at Harvard analyzed just this, and they found 300 universal emotional motivators. And using big data analysis, identified the top 10 high-impact motivators. Stand out from the crowd, have confidence in the future, enjoy a sense of well-being, feel a sense of freedom, feel a sense of thrill, feel a sense of belonging, protect the environment, be the person I want to be, feel secure, succeed in life. As you may have noticed, the top motivators are higher up on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. They're heavily skewed towards esteem, belonging, love, and self-actualization. So while this is not a one-size-fits-all prescription, as you're exploring creating emotion-driven marketing and deeper emotional connection within your brand, for most companies, looking for ways to help people reach the higher elements on Maslow's chart will likely create the best results. Now, I hope by giving you a greater understanding of the psychological framework that drives action, you'll start to conduct your own research on the emotions that motivate your customers. At P3, we're experts at leveraging this psychological and data-driven approach to grow our clients' businesses. If you need support, reach out to us at p3media.com.